It was good, people. I am, of course, Cool Blue, and this is
Lady Blue.
This be another episode of Blue Talk, episode 3, and the title of the evening is
Inadequacies versus anxiety.
Oh, you gonna ruffle some feathers on this one?
Yes.
So I'm gonna let you kick this one off, and we gonna swing like we do.
Okay. So I don't have any definition this time. This actually came up from a genuine conversation Cool Blue and I were having, as most topics does. And we were talking about how a lot of people like to blame them not showing up for themselves on anxiety. Like, oh, I couldn't really show up this week because my anxiety was through the roof. Or, oh, I couldn't, get this done because my anxiety this or my anxiety that. And I do believe anxiety plays a part in those things, but I feel like it's more of inadequacy. And the reason why I say that is that when I've been going through my own struggles in the past, as well as sometimes even now, like I may not post or I may not do certain things, and it's not because of anxiety per se, but it's because I don't feel adequate enough, you could say, or it's one of those things where it's like, well, if I put this out, are they really going to receive it, or things like that. So I don't really define that as anxiety as more as you feeling inadequate.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. The main reason why we kind of had the topic, even like outside of what she was saying, is that like we just noticed the influx. It's like she said, like it was a lot of things that was happening with folks, and like anxiety has been the word that has been overkill for like the past 2 to 3 years. It was like people found out about the word anxiety and they took it and ran with it. And like you said, a lot of that kind of comes in with inadequacy, where it's like you kind of sort of think that like everything is like, yeah, you're going to be anxious about things. Like that's a natural reaction to things. But it's like you can't blame every single solitary shortcoming in your life and ball it down to your anxiety. Everything in your life doesn't fall to the wayside because of your anxiety. And I feel like a lot of people are using anxiety as a cop-out. That's just my personal opinion. Can't speak for everybody, but I just necessarily feel like a lot of people are anxious now because it's like you're being like you put on this. You know what? I'll put it to you like this. I feel like a lot of people are anxious now because you put on this facade and now you have to live up to the facade.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what it is. I feel like for so many years, people naturally see what people want them to see. And then it's like people start addressing you as such. And now it's like that you become a prisoner of the moment, like we talked about beforehand. You become a prisoner of the moment, and now you have to live up to that image.
Yeah. You don't want your image to end up being a pyramid scheme. It starts to crumble.
1,000.
Yeah.
And I feel as though like when it comes to like anxiety, like I said beforehand, like, yeah, it plays a part. Like, I don't want to take anything away from it. Like, yes, you can be anxious about certain things. But, like, I just feel as though, like, for everything, when it comes to, like, family, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to just internal struggles or whatever the case may be, it's like, my anxiety didn't allow me to do this today. My anxiety didn't allow me to pursue this today. My anxiety didn't allow me to go here today. But then it's like you outside in like a 2-piece. Your anxiety didn't prevent that. Or like you just go out and you drink till you throw up. Your anxiety didn't prevent that. You know what I mean? Right. Like little stuff like that where it's like when you want to live life, your anxiety doesn't play a part at all.
Exactly.
But then when it's time for you to step up to the plate and do things that you've been wanting to do for yourself, that you've been, needing to do, not even wanting to do, needing to do. It's like, oh, my anxiety wouldn't let me turn it on today. And then it's like tomorrow, my anxiety wouldn't let me turn it on today. 3 weeks from now, my anxiety wouldn't let me turn it on today. And it's just become the constant conversation of anxiety, and I'm like, that's an adequacy. Like it's just like you're using it to your advantage way too much.
You're using it to not show up for yourself.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I've realized when it comes to anxiety, or something that I've learned throughout the years, is that they say that anxiety is worrying about the future. And I know a lot of people worry about the future. Shoot, I worry about the future. But I also know that if I don't do this today, it affects the future for me as well.
Exactly.
So if I don't show up for myself, then next week, because I didn't show up for myself today, next week I won't progress to a certain level.
Yeah.
So I have to, so I get it, like, being fearful about what you put out into the world and things like that. But like I said, I feel like that's more of a feeling of inadequate. Like, I'm not enough. And that's when you have to really reflect and like really get on your stuff about your affirmations to yourself, letting you know and reassuring yourself you are enough. Because once you start to feel confident in yourself, you start to feel confident to show up where you need to show up.
Yeah, definitely. And that, like, you hit it right on the head. Like, that confidence in yourself snowball, like the same way you have a negative snowball effect is the same way you can have a positive snowball effect. And a lot of times when you say snowball effect, even still today, like everybody thinks about the negative side of a snowball effect. But you can also have a positive side of the snowball effect. It's positive reinforcement the same way you have negative reinforcement. But if you keep telling yourself, oh, my anxiety won't let me, my anxiety won't let me, my anxiety won't let me,
You'll
never will
be in that prison.
Yeah, it never will. It never will. And it's like positive affirmations, positive reinforcements on a daily basis matters. It really, really matters, because on them days where you telling yourself that you're not, there are people looking at you like you are. And after a while, if you keep telling yourself, I'm not, after a while, they're going to be like, well, maybe I see more in them than what they see in themselves. Maybe they've been really putting on a facade. Maybe they not.
Yeah.
And they just, like, it's just kind of rolling into. But like I said, that's a whole other conversation for another day. I ain't gonna necessarily get into that too much, but not to take away from what you were saying. But I just think that was a good point that you hit on.
Thanks. Well, we're not going to preach and chew your ear off too long today. But I will say your affirmations to yourself. And it's okay to say them naked sometimes if you need some body positivity, quote unquote. But yeah, write your affirmations on a mirror. Say them to yourself. Say your goals out loud. Go back every couple of months. Recheck your goals. You might actually be able to scratch something off the list. Like
that too. And not to cut you off, people don't check their goals. People will sit back and will check every bad thing, person, anything that somebody done said to you.
I'm guilty of this too sometimes.
Like anything that somebody done said to you, like, check it off the list. You'll sit back and have your goals and you like, oh, I met that goal, but you never checked it off. So in the back of your mind, like,
you still haven't done it.
Yeah, it's like you still haven't done it. Like, you thinking, I'm taking L after L after L after L, but you not acknowledging the W's. So it's like, if you don't acknowledge the W's, who will? Just a tidbit.
So that's it, y'all. Sign us out.
Final thought. I'm about to say, I'll do my final thought because she usually goes first. Love yourself when others choose not to. I know I used to do the timeless currency, but love yourself when others choose not to. It is very important that, definitely in this day and time where everybody is choosing to tell you what you can't do, what you won't do. And that's where the anxiety for me kind of like, like, da-da-da-da. But it's like, in this time where everybody's scratching and clawing and looking for some type of stable ground, love is very important, and love plays a major part. And I wish that people would really take the time out to love themselves, because it matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. I can't say it anymore. It matters. It really does. You?
Yeah, my final thoughts is that, and just affirm yourself. Like, speak to yourself. Speak to yourself. Speak to your inner child. Think of all the goals you ever want to accomplish, no matter how ridiculous or how mundane they are, and really go for it, because you can do it.
And this has been another episode of Blue Talk. I am, of course, Cool Blue. This is
Lady Blue.
And we definitely got a couple more Baltimore influencers, artists, creatives, and just all around good people coming down the pipe. Shout out to Cool Grain. Shout out to them chakras. Y'all already know what the play is. Keep it pushing, keep it moving.
Sounds good to me.
Love you.
Love y'all. Bye.